Good morning. This is Margaret from the University of Sewing at the Tailored Fit, and it's Saturday morning, so we're here Facebook Live. So, University of Sewing is a fabric store. We're a Bernina dealership, and we have a lot of wonderful things that we'd like to share with you, and the best way we've found to do it is these Facebook Live videos. And, you know, the other thing that's really cool about all this is that if you aren't on Facebook, which you found probably, is that you can watch these on YouTube, usually within a day or so when we post these. So I see. Okay, we probably went offline there for a minute, and I apologize about that. Or maybe we didn't go offline and it was looking crazy, but we had something come up on the phone. And sometimes that happens because of automatic messages and so forth, and it ended up taking up the full screen and we didn't know what was going on. So anyway, what we try to do is make sure, even if you're not on Facebook, that you can go ahead and watch this on YouTube if you'd like. And I try to send links out to it the following week so that you can see those too. So you get to watch this in a variety of different ways, whatever is most comfortable for you. So on Saturdays, what we focus on are the things we have in the shop for sale as far as fabric. We try to focus on patterns and things like that. Well, today, Dave, show them this big table full of stuff. I've got all kinds of things to show you today. And so this is going to be really fun. And what we're going to do is first we're going to talk about a little project I came across. And if you guys like this, I can order this pattern, but it's okay if you don't. I just found a little project that I thought would be really fun to do. And this project is based on a pattern called Zen Chic. And when I saw this, my house tends to be a little bit of Asian influence in the decorating. And so what I thought when I saw this is it made me think of stone gardens that they have in Japan, and this is a stack of stones. But I will tell you, almost everybody else I've shown this to say it looks like a stack of books. Everybody has a different way of looking at things, but I just thought it was really beautiful, and I thought it would match the decor in my home. So one of the things that I think people always struggle with is, how do you pick the fabrics? How do you figure out what you're going to do for a quilt or a wall hanging? And how do you go about that process? And I thought it'd be kind of fun this morning for you to hear my explanation of how I come up with things. And most of our customers have said that they like my choices in fabric, and they like when I do a project like this, they seem to like them. So I thought it would be fun to just give you a little bit of information on how I make decisions and what I was thinking when I did this. So I'm going to have Dave focus back in on the fabrics here for a minute. And what you're going to see is that the fabrics in the original pattern were in cool colors. They were greens, blues, dark colors, and then there was just a touch of gold, which was very interesting to me. But in my home, what I feel like would be a better choice of coloring was reds and golds, and more dark colors. So what I've done here is I've got some brights that are popping out, but these are all fabrics we have here in the shop. And so I was able to come up with this beautiful paintbrush fabric as a background. And then I've got these different slices of color, and what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to make the strips, and I'm going to make them different sizes, and then I'm going to play with them. And I'm using a product called Steam a Seam 2, and what you can do with that is one side of it you can adhere to the fabric, and then the other side of that you can peel off the backing, and I'm going to peel that off. And what's really nice about it is that it will stick on there. Now, it pulled some of my threads, so I'm going to have to trim those. But that's what it does, is it sticks on there, and then I'll be able to take this off and I'll be able to move it to a different spot if I don't want it right there. So that was one of the things that I've come up with as far as being able to figure out how this is going to look. And the other thing that I will typically do is, if I have a design wall like that one right up there, what I can do is I can put this up on a wall and I can walk away from it. And we carry these design walls, and they're really useful because they can fold up to nothing. They come in a little bag, and then what we can do, actually, they come in a little bag like this. That's how it comes. So you can store it in the little bag, and then when you're ready to use it, it puts together in minutes, and then you can go ahead and establish your design on it, like we have the picture or the quilt blocks up there. So that makes it a little bit more, you know, you can move things around, you can decide how things look, and you can determine what you like and what you don't. So that's what's happening here. And yesterday, when I got ready to do this, I didn't have these fabrics in here, these other darks. And I looked at it and I thought, it's just too light. I didn't care for it. So I went back and I brought some more fabrics out, and I just have 1/4 yard pieces here, and I was able to look at them and determine, do I like these additional colors? And I think I'm going to add more of these darks, because even though the picture on the cover of the pattern had a lot more lights in it, that wasn't something I really cared for. I ended up, once I did this, I ended up wanting some more dark fabric in it. So it is, you know, a lot of people think this is really difficult, but what you do basically is audition things. And you add stuff and you take things away and you determine if you like it. And one of the things I made very strict rules for myself about is that there weren't going to be any cool colors in here, meaning no greens, no blues. I wasn't going to do those in here. And so that really helped me figure out what this was going to look like. So I wanted to show you where I picked these colors from. And what I have, I'm going to move these guys here for a minute. One of the things that I decided to use was Robert Kaufman's Warehouse line. So that's where my pink came from. Now, obviously, if I used a lot of this pink, it would be really overwhelming. And that's not what I wanted to do. But what I do have is I have this fabric and I have this fabric. They all have the pinks in it. So we've got our warm colors. They've got golds and oranges in it. Again, my warm colors that I wanted. And as long as I don't use a lot of these fabrics, I use them in touches, and then most of my other fabrics are more neutral, then I think I'm going to achieve the look I'm going for. Now, of course, you may decide that you want it to be much more bright. Then you might use these colors in bigger abundance. So, but the Warehouse line from Robert Kaufman, the really fun thing about this fabric line is they have both warms and cools. So if your decorating scheme is more in cool colors, they have some beautiful blues, and I'm going to talk about this one in a second. Here is a couple of other really pretty dark blues. Here's some with some bright in it. And those, here we go. I'm going to find some of the other ones in here. I bet some of you are recognizing this other line I've got over here, which is Tim Holtz's Abandoned line. So here we've got this beautiful blue too in the Warehouse line. So if your color schemes are in cool colors, then we have that right here for you. Now, another thing I brought over here was some of Marcia Durst's fabrics. And Marcia Durst has some really gorgeous, gorgeous fabrics. And I'm going to move these out of the way for a second. So we have some more room. And Marcia Durst, she came up with this curiosity line. And she came up with this really interesting fabric. And it looks like there's hand-sewn circles with this really interesting hand-stamped looking background. Now, everybody has different ways of looking at things, but what I was seeing with this fabric that I thought could be really cool is just using this part of it. Is black really helps make this a little more subtle. The other thing you could do with this, in my opinion, that I haven't had a chance to play with, is you could do stitching in here, or you could applique something in those circles. And I've been wanting to play with that for a while, and I think that would be really interesting. So that one is a Marcia Durst fabric. And then here's another one of her fabrics, and we have very little of this left. This has been really popular. But look at those gorgeous colors. So for people who like their brights, the nice thing about this is this has a lot of warm colors in it. And so if you have a warm color palette in your home, this works really well. Now there are some cools in this. You've got your blues and some teals. So there are some cool colors in it, but I personally think it reads mostly warm. And that is one of the big keys of figuring out how you're going to design something. Do you want the color palette to be warm? Do you want it to be cool? Because most of the time, my experience has been that when you try to mix the two together too much, it comes off feeling very disjointed. Now, maybe that's the look you're going for, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I just think that a lot of times, if you can figure out the cool color palette or the warm color palette, then you have a much nicer, much more cohesive look. So, for examples, one of the things that I brought over, because I just really love this line, this is Tim Holtz's line, his Abandon line. And oh, by the way, we've ordered his other, he's got a new line coming out, and we have ordered that complete line. Now, what's really interesting that Tim did in this is here's your very, very warm color palette. And then in the background, he's got some of the cool color palette. But he does it in such a way, in my opinion, that they work, because it kind of feels like, to me, if you think about a field of really bright flowers with a blue sky background and some green going on, that's what he's done here. So this does work very well. Again, though, if I were to look at this for the most part, maybe you wouldn't agree with me, but I see this being a really cool palette. And so when we put his different fabrics together, and I'm going to hold this one off to the side because that one's, but when I put the cool colors with it, it reads cool. But then if I put a lot of the warm color palette part of his line with it, then what we have is a more warm piece. So what's nice about his fabric is that you have the ability to go in a lot of different directions with this. And it would make a really interesting pattern. I'm thinking that we have actually done several things with this fabric. We've done some bags, we've done some other things, and one of the fun parts about his fabric is every single one of these pieces of fabric have writing on them. So that can really add to your design. Now what he did do is he added these wonderful neutrals, and those are what I ended up using quite a bit within my quilt that I showed you at the beginning of all this. I've used these really great natural, neutral fabrics, and they have a little bit of gold and a little bit of silver. I'm seeing a lot more of that where people are mixing those two. And what makes those work or not tends to be proportion. So if they put a lot of one of the gold or the silver, or they mix them evenly, that kind of determines whether or not the fabric works and whether most people like it or not. So I have one more fabric over here that got down at the very bottom of the pile, but this is also from that warehouse line, and it's a wonderful neutral that I'm going to use in my particular quilt that I showed you earlier. That's in there too. So we have a lot of wonderful neutrals that you can use to create some really gorgeous wall hanging pieces. Maybe you're thinking of a bed quilt and you can figure out some really interesting design on that. We just recently got in a lot of beautiful quilt patterns, and I hope you'll take a look at them. They're on our website. Our website is universityofsewing.com, and go under patterns, and then there's a subgroup of quilt patterns, and I think you'll find some really fun things. We have some new patterns for our Bliss line from Northcott. We have some patterns that work for some of the other lines like the blue line and so forth. So we hope you will look at that. But then I wanted to take and make a little bit of a U-turn here, and I wanted to talk about some things that I haven't really spoken about before. And these fabrics right here, they are canvases. And the thing that's really interesting about the canvases that are out on the market right now is the canvases are while they're a canvas, they're a heavier fabric, they're really drapey, they're not stiff. So most of the time when I've gone to a store in the past, if you got out a canvas, what you found is that the fabric really didn't have any drape and wasn't soft at all. Well, look at that. Look at how soft that is in comparison. Yes, it is a heavier weight, but it is drapeable. So this could work for clothing. It can work for a bag, and it can work for, actually, even if you just wanted to use bits and pieces of it in a quilt, I think you could do that too. And I'd be interested to hear what you have done with these new soft canvases that are out on the market. Now, I received one of the Robert Kaufman, this is the Solstice line by Sally Kelly. And look how pretty this particular fabric is. Now, when we got this in, I fell in love with it. I thought it was really beautiful. But I will have to tell you that most of the time, this isn't a color palette that I typically use. But then I thought, well, what would be more fun to do than to make a tote bag out of it? And I was thinking, wouldn't this be fun to take to the beach? So I found, well, I'm going to just be honest with you. I didn't find a pattern. I just made it up. And I do that. And what I did was I made a zippered bag. I lined it with a batik because the batik would be easy to clean. And I just put in the bottom of this just a little piece of cardboard for display. But what I had thought of is that if you had this, you could take this to the beach. You could put all of your stuff in it at the end of the day. If there's wet towels or whatever, you throw them in here, and you throw this and the towels in the washing machine when you're done. I just wanted to do something really simple and nice, and it just nice big bag. And so this ended up being a gift to my daughter-in-law. I made one for her and I made one for a shop sample. And this is just linen on the top and bottom. But for those of you who aren't necessarily terribly comfortable with going ahead and making your own pattern, what I wanted to show you is we have some kits and we have some patterns to show you. This kit right here is called the Ultimate Bucket Tote. And wouldn't that make a great bag to take to the beach too? This fabric is from the Robert Kaufman line warehouse, and they have a great canvas out of it. It's beautiful. And you know what I love about this fabric? If you get it dirty, who's going to notice? I mean, really, who's going to notice? It's really wonderful. So we got 2 of those Robert Kaufman fabrics. This one is also a canvas, and both of these would be great for bags. We carry Bosal foam. It's called NR Foam Plus. We have this one, which is fusible, and oftentimes they're fusible either. This is a double-sided fusible. So when you use this, all your fabric sticks to both sides and you don't have to worry about it coming away from your foam. So that's kind of cool, and that's what this has in it. We also have some really cute bags. I'm gonna find, let me see. You know, whenever you're looking for something, okay, so I'm going to move those out of our way, and then I'm going to put this bag down. Look how cute this bag is. These are out of some of our Japanese fabrics. This is out of an RJR fabric, and then we just have a nice linen right here. And that is from this really cute little pattern from Cut Loose Press. And I wanted to show you all how simple and beautiful it could be. This is actually a lined bag, and there's the lining we chose for this. This particular pattern is all of $3.50, so it has the instructions on the back. It has all of the things you need on the front. And if you see something here today and you say, well, gee whiz, Margaret, I really like what I'm seeing, but I don't feel comfortable picking out the fabrics for it. Well, if you give me a color palette and you decide that you want a kit made up out of it, I can take and make you a kit for that also. We carry Atkinson's designs, so we have several of theirs. Let me move that out of the way. I'm going to show those. They're really cute patterns, and we have several different patterns from that company, and they are really neat. I really like their patterns. I think they're very pretty, very unusual. We took some of Tim Holtz's line and we made this particular pattern, which is called Pockets to Go. And see, it's got all these wonderful little pockets that you can put things into. And see, there they are, nice little place to put all your things. And that's the pattern Pockets to Go from Atkinson's. We have a couple throughout the store. We really do have quite a bit of this cut loose patterns. One of the things that I really like about the cut loose patterns is they're very economical, and I think they make a lot of sense. They just tell you what you need on the front, you follow directions on the back, and you're ready to go. And these are so cute because you can put them in a notebook. But this particular pattern right here is for a bag that goes over your suitcase handle. You know what? We're getting ready to have people start traveling again, and wouldn't this be great so that you don't have to worry about a bag that you have to go on your luggage, and you can make this in all the colors you want, and it would make it really nice to go ahead and you can do different color combinations. You can do what is something that matches your luggage. You can do something that just makes you happy, and you can carry it as a bag when it's not on your suitcase. This little cross body bag, which is super cute, and I forgot to pull the sample for you to see it. So this crossbody bag is really adorable. And the nice thing about the crossbody bag, this is the perfect thing to put on yourself whenever you're going any kind of traveling and you just want a place to put your cell phone and maybe a couple of credit cards or some money, and you can throw it in this little bag, put it over your shoulder, and it is not, make sure that your hands are free. So that's really nice. So that is a very cute little bag. And the nice thing is, anything like this, you can change the length of this strap to whatever you like to wear. So if what you want to do is, see, I wouldn't want it this short. I would want it longer. So I can just make my strap longer and have it to whatever size I want. And it's just so cute. Doesn't take a lot of time to make it. A great place to put your decorative stitching. Now, the other company that we carry a lot of really cute things from is Indigo Junction. We have a composition cover, and that might be nice for someone you know who's going to be going to school in the fall. So that would give them a place to have, see, you can put your cell phone, and there's a place to put your pens, and you can just put that over top of a nice stiff notebook. Another thing that they've got is a laptop keeper. Now, you know, we always need some place to take our laptop, and we want to do it safely. And the nice thing about this is that you can pad it out. You can put a couple of pens inside there if you want, and then you've got your laptop and everything you need all together and in one place, and it's identifiable as yours because you designed the fabric combinations. Another real cute idea is this Tribeca tote, and what a great way to use up scraps to be able to have something very original and just for you. They show it in two different ways, one with patchwork and another one out of solids. So you can go ahead, and this is a great way to go ahead and use your fabric. Say you've got some Japanese fabric or something really special. What a great way to show it off. The last one of the Indigo Junctions I really wanted to show you guys today is this little wine carrier. Now, we always have gifts that we need to give people, and this is made for giving bread and wine, and it is such a cute idea. What a pretty gift idea for you for coming up into, you know, in the summertime, we go on picnics. So this would be a cute way to give a gift if you have a group of people you're going on a picnic with. It would be a lovely idea for a housewarming gift. It would be great for the fall and the into the winter, because we're going to need to think about Christmas gifts. So I always try to think about Christmas gift ideas for you guys so that you can make them up. And the nice thing about something like this wine and bread bistro bags is they don't take up a lot of fabric and they're quick to make, so it's a wonderful little gift. Now, I'm going to mention our By Annie patterns, and we have a number of them, and we have them in kits also. And By Annie has this wonderful travel duffel bag right here, and then this travel bag. And I don't know if you folks know about it, but By Annie also, I really like their products. They have a lot of hardware that can go with your bags. If you're really into making bags, they have really, really cute and very wonderful bags. And they do YouTube videos to help you be able to create them. And they also do another thing, and I wanted to kind of finish up today by telling you about a little contest that By Annie does. And we only have a couple days left to be part of it. But they have a place on their website, which is byannie.com. And you can go on their website and you can vote for us to be your favorite shop. So if you go on there, right on the very front page, it shows you a little link and you can click on that. And then you go down into a form that you have to fill out, and it will take you a minute or two. But the form, I went on there yesterday kind of playing with it because I hadn't had a chance to do it. But I found it a tiny bit confusing, and I want to point out to you that when you go on their website, it says plus add. And what that means is they want you to click on that button and find the quilt shop that you want to go ahead and vote for. We've already got some votes on there. I've had it on our website for a little bit. I will tell you that with the snowstorm and some other things going on, I was a little neglectful about letting you know we are on that. But we'd love to have you vote for us if you want. And all you have to do is to go to byannie.com. Now, all these things that I showed you are available here at the shop. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to private message me. Go ahead and send us an email, info@universityofsewing.com. I mean, we're here to help you. We love doing this. We have a lot of fun with it, and we want your projects to be successful, and we can help you a lot of times. So if you give us a shot at it, I'm sure we can do that. So come and see us. The weather's going to be gorgeous in Bloomington again today. I think we're supposed to be in the mid-50s again today. That's crazy. In middle of February, the end of February. I don't typically expect that, but this is a blip in the scheme of things. So get out today, come and see us. We want to help you with your sewing projects or just see what you've been doing. We have had a couple of customers stop in the last couple of days, and they brought quilts to show us, and it's been so much fun. We've really enjoyed that. We've also had some of our customers stop in, get some fabric, and then send me pictures of what they've created, and we put them on our show and tell page. Don't forget, you can do that. All you have to do is send it to me at info@universityofsewing.com. Our website's open 24/7, and we're going to finish up with one last thing. I know a lot of you who watch are not local. So, special deal for you today. We are going to be offering free shipping for you. So, all you have to do, and give me about 15 minutes. I'll have that on the website here in about 15 minutes. But anybody who buys $50 or more, we're going to go ahead and give you free shipping for the next 3 days. So the coupon code is just going to be free shipping. I'm going to make it easy. 3 days. So you've got today, Sunday, and Monday. So go ahead and order some things. Look at some of this. If you don't see the kit you want, and you even have a particular fabric in mind, let me know. We'll make you up a kit. We're always happy to do that. You guys have a wonderful Saturday. Happy end of February to you. And don't forget, today's the last day to get the deals we've been talking about on our Bernina sewing machines. And so we hope we will see you or hear from you. You have a wonderful weekend, and we'll talk to you next Friday at Facebook Live.